Butter butter is the name of the dance we do down Johannesburg way. Hit it!
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines New York. This is episode 6 and in today's episode we are going to be tackling the airport. I basically just got my hands on the new DLC and I thought I'd give this a go, so yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. So starting off the video here, I'm basically just figuring out the overall layout of LaGuardia here and basically how I want to make this airport because I was initially debating on even which airport I should build. It was either between LaGuardia or JFK, but I feel for the sake of the scale that I'm going for, JFK would probably have been way too big for the map size that I have going on here. So I just ended up going with LaGuardia, but even still, that sort of left me in another little conundrum of which sort of state of existence should I build this airport, because at the moment it's currently under renovation, and I was debating on whether or not I should build the completed renovated airport or if I should build the airport as it once was a couple years ago before they started renovation, or should I do something in the middle and build the airport under construction, which is basically its current state of being right now. And I elected for building an airport under construction because I just feel that's a bit more interesting for me, and I'd love to see how I can achieve that in City Skylines. But I feel like that also just pays homage to just the general fact that so many airports in the United States are under renovations right now. I know LAX has a new sort of SkyTrain people mover that allows people to access the terminals via an off-site parking garage, which basically helps minimize traffic inside of the airport itself. San Francisco has some minor terminal renovations, I think, as well. Newark is building a completely new terminal, as far as I can tell, and of course LaGuardia, which is renovating the entire airport. And the reason for this is, I mean, I'm sure you all have heard the downsides of LaGuardia. It's cramped, it's way too small for the capacity that it's experiencing right now, passenger capacity, and just overall flight delays, passenger experience. It's just not it's not a great airport to be in, and the renovations are working to tackle that problem head on, with especially in terms of efficiency on the airplane side of things, because with the previous design airplanes just couldn't depart from their gates quickly because they had to be taxied out or pushed back of quite a distance before they could even turn on their engines, because the thrust from the engines is just so powerful that basically anything behind that aircraft will either get blown away or possibly even just damaged or destroyed because of the sheer force of the winds. So you have to push those airplanes back quite a fair bit away from the terminal, away from any equipment, before they can even start taxiing their way towards the runway. And I feel like this new satellite terminal design greatly fixes that because basically as soon as you exit that gate, you're free to go. You're on your way because there's nothing really behind you. So that sort of design just greatly improves the efficiency of the terminals and reduces delays and basically improves the overall experience in the airport. So now I'm going to start working on this part of the airport which has a terminal that's under construction. And I did this by taking one of the, what are they called, satellite terminals that exist in the new airport DLC, and I just sort of outlined it with these metal or concrete sort of pillars to sort of get its foundation, its perimeter going, and which I will later just expand upon with sort of props and metal structures that sort of mimic the steel frame of the terminal. And I started off just by placing random props everywhere, but I soon came across this sort of metal frame or crane asset or prop, and I just love the color of it. The sort of reddish color is very similar to the color of the steel that is being used in the actual airport. If you look at Google Maps, it has this like reddish color, and this prop that I found, it's nearly perfect. If you can ignore the fact that it's part of a harbor, I think it works quite well in this situation actually. So I'm very glad I found that prop. But I'm doing some very light detail work in this clip. Later on in the video you'll see me just start to really go ham on this little construction site. But I'm just gonna tell you right now, I did not end up finishing this airport the way I wanted it to, so don't worry if things look unfinished. I am completely aware, and I am 100% gonna come back to this and finish it in a later episode. I'm just busy. I'm living a busy life. I'm sure you guys have all heard my excuses in the past, but I'm doing my best. So definitely still a work in progress. So don't be too mad at me, please. But right now I'm just working on the taxiways, just trying to get something that looks nice. LaGuardia actually has a lot of like different concrete or asphalt colors on its taxiways. I'm not quite sure why, but I just sort of mimicked this with using these sort of taxiway networks that have different colors, different darker colors, and I feel like the effect actually works well. So very satisfied with how this airport's coming along. So this part of the video is where I guess the terminal really starts to take shape, at least that part that's under construction. And I started by cheating a little bit. I did take this construction site that I built originally at the World Trade Center, and I just copied and pasted it over to the airport here to just make my life a little bit easier. But I am very happy with how this actually ended up turning out in the end. It looks seriously cool, at least I think so. But I did just start to move things around a little bit, just to add a little bit of variation and make it not just a simple copy and paste. But I did start to place these sort of concrete tiles just to mimic a floor that's under construction, which I did add more of. I'm not sure if I showed this later on in the video. I'm sure I did, but yeah, just the way these floors looked and the way this terminal started to take shape in the end, I really like this. So right now I'm just making these little jet bridges, or not jet bridges, but like bridges that connect the satellite hub to the terminal, which is actually how the actual new renovated terminals are, how they look like in real life. And the reason for this is because obviously you need a way to get from the hub sort of terminal to the satellite terminals where all the gates are. And usually satellite terminals do this via just like an underground tunnel, like the one on the far right, as you can see there. But with these two, I elected to make them a little bit similar to the real life design of these terminals, which is just having these giant passenger bridges that fly over the tarmac, over the gates, which it has enough space underneath for an aircraft to travel below. So that's basically why these terminals work the way they do and why they work as satellite terminals. But moving on, I'm building this sort of reclaimed land reclamation segment of the airport, and I know it looks it doesn't look the best. I definitely have to come back and work on that in a later episode. I hate working with quays or keys or whatever they're called. I've been playing this game for like 4 years and I still don't know how to pronounce that word, but I'm not bothered to look it up, so pardon my pronunciation. But just wrapping up the episode here, I am just continuing to work on these taxiways, adding in a little bit more detail with these sort of taxiway borders that I mean, they just look amazing. I love using these. But I came across this technique from another YouTuber that basically using node controller to expand the corners to make them a bit more of a gentle curve instead of having such a sharp turn. And I used this for basically all of the intersections here, all the corners, and it looked great, except for this little section right here, I believe. Whenever I zoom out, yeah, you can see it right there. Whenever you zoom out, the corners just sort of glitch out, and I don't know how to fix that unless I just give up and just use node controller. So I might come back to that in a later episode and fix it up, but for now I just left it because I couldn't be bothered. And yeah, with that music fading out, that is my cue to stop talking and start wrapping up the video. So thank you all for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm definitely going to come back to this airport at a later date to finish it up. It's a bit under detailed at the moment and a bit unfinished, but it is what it is. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please leave a like, it really helps the video and helps out my channel a lot. But yeah, follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and support me on Patreon if you'd like. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.